Hi everyone, I'm Maddie.
And I'm Amber.
And we're
Witches Talking Tarot.
And today we're going to be discussing a really fun topic, also known as the multiverse.
Yes.
I'm not going to lie, I'm super excited to talk pop culture.
Parallel universes are so cool. Like, I'm excited to talk our own theories. Like,
Right.
This made my mind go in a bajillion different places. A million bajillion.
So when I hear multiverse, I think Spider-Man. You know what I mean? But I know I'm not the only one.
Yeah, well, I'm going to say I would imagine even more people, when they hear multiverse, they think Rick and Morty, like, immediately.
I don't know.
100%.
Spider-Man made, like,
Rick
the most
amount
of money.
It's so popular, though.
I can't get into it.
I know you can't, but, like, it's so popular, and it has been since it came out. Like, Rick and Morty, like...
so horrible.
And it's like,
please don't cancel
Rick
me when
and Morty
I say
was
that.
doing multiverse stuff long before Spider-Man ever entered
Well, yeah,
that
but
realm,
the multiverse was, like, that was the 60s when they wrote those comics.
But I'm just,
you know.
I mean, fair enough, but at the same time, for current pop culture, you know, Rick and Morty was, like, you know, doing that multiverse thing a little bit before the Spider-Man movies came out.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is something they've been building up for a very long time. So, no, they haven't done it until recently.
I love, like, one thing that, I'm interested in, like, there's a lot more multiverse theories from the scientific aspect than I can brain.
I know. I was reading them, and it was like, I don't know if you've ever seen Percy Jackson, but when the words move because he can't read them because he's meant to read Greek and he can't read. Anyway, that's how it was for me. Or, like, I like to compare it to Enochian. I have no idea what the fuck they were saying. Like, I could make out was and at. But other than that, there were all these giant words.
The words that were on the page, I could read.
Right,
I
but
just
I couldn't
brain them.
Like, I couldn't brain exactly.
Couldn't
like,
brain
I
them.
could read
So, y'all, if you are here for a scientific discussion, let us just tell you that the most scientific it's going to get is just the theories, right?
Right.
We're not getting down into quantum physics because we don't know how.
It actually makes me really embarrassed because I wanted to go to school to be an astrophysicist for a very long time. I love the stars. And now I'm like, I don't understand. I may have overestimated my own intellect.
Well, and partly, okay, so, like, when you're young, your brain is still growing.
Maybe
and
that's
you're
it, 'cause
going
I'm
to
like,
school and you're
I
taking
swear
this information in and, you know, understanding blah, blah, blah. I mean, when I was young, I wanted to be a forensic scientist. But there were other things that I did that were more important to me, so I could not work for, like, the FBI like I wanted, because they do certain kinds of testing that I would not have passed back then. The drug kind of testing, guys.
I still dream of, like, being not necessarily a like an astrophysicist, but, like, I would love to be like what Bones does. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, that's
forensic science,
yes.
right? Or forensic anthropology.
Yeah, like HBO used to have, like, HBO, I'm pretty sure, had, like, one of the first forensic shows out there, and it was just this one doctor guy. Mm-hmm. And he'd tell you about these interesting cases he had, and that's how I learned, like, potatoes don't digest as fast as other things or whatever, or you can judge, or maybe they digest faster, so you can judge by the potatoes in this lady's stomach of when she died versus when this guy says they ate or whatever, you know what I mean? Or, you know, whatever.
No, I get what you're saying, but I don't think I'm smart enough anymore.
That shit got me so interested in forensics. I still think that I am smart enough for science. I've never been mathy.
Oh, maybe that's the problem.
Like,
because, like, this physics is
math.
It's so math.
Math.
Right.
My dad is like a math genius, and my mother's father was an actual math genius that worked for NASA and was used by the University of Houston as a guest lecturer. I can't math, and it makes me ashamed because I'm like, my mom's dad is a legit, like, on the record math genius. My dad is not, like, on the record math genius, but he's like a math genius. Like, you throw numbers at this man, he can do all that shit in his head, and he's right. Like, I don't care what numbers you want to throw at him, he'll get you, he'll do it. I can't. And, like,
science is
painful.
fun.
Like, as a child, my brother and I were IQ tested, and we were tested with genius level IQs. So, adult me is like, wow, Amber, way to live up to your goddamn potential. Doing a witchy podcast.
Well, you know, math,
but again, there's no math here, guys. There will not
sucks.
be any.
Like, I think physics maybe, yeah, now that you say that, like, the science I can definitely...
The science I can do.
I passed science. I fucking failed math, but I passed science because
I
you know what
squeaked
science
by
is?
in geometry.
Science is a lot of reading.
Thanks, Richard and Naruto, and I don't remember.
Did you just say Naruto?
Tai! He was a Japanese exchange student.
Naruto.
Something along those lines, so I hope he knows who he is based on the other guys' names. I'm hoping. If you watch my show, I doubt any of you.
His name is Naruto?
Something along those lines. I don't really exactly remember. They made fun of me for dating a sailor back in those days. I'm hoping based on Richard's name and the use of something that sounds like his name, and then Ty's name.
I hope that's his name, because can you imagine being that kid and being like, this bitch just called me Naruto?
I think it's Naruto. I feel like his name was Naruto.
It is, I'm sure it is Naruto, because some people pronounce Naruto as Naruto.
No, I didn't say Naruto. I said Naruto, but I mumbled it because I don't quite remember.
Oh, I thought you said Naruto.
And I feel bad. I feel bad I don't quite remember his name, but like we all palled around in geometry.
But yeah, I could probably do the science. Science is a lot of reading. As opposed to, I'm
just so terrified that I didn't turn the sound off. So we're just going to double check. Anybody that can see me on YouTube.
I know.
Thanks for watching. Like, why is my phone going to be like this? Well, if there is a noise from my phone, you'll hear Marvin the Martian. So.
Oh, no! It's so loud.
I'm hoping I muted it because like some notifications have come through and it's...
Every time you send me a voice message and it goes off, Bryson's like...
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, I have learned now how to delete that voice message before it's sent. Every once in a while I accidentally hit the send button when I'm trying to hit delete.
I don't mind it. I'm used to it. But then Bryson hears it and it's like a song. It gets stuck in your head. That's why he doesn't like it.
My clients, most of them, are much older than me. So they well remember Marvin the Martian cartoons. So they all laugh when my clients love my ringtone more than I do.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Sometimes they'll say, what did he say? And then I'll tell them that it says, what Marvin says. And then they're like, and sometimes I have to let them know it's Marvin the Martian. But most of the time they already knew it was Marvin. They just didn't understand what he said. I think it's great.
No, I like it. I think it's funny that my husband says it around the house when he hears your phone go off. Like a song. So, on the topic of a multiverse...
I'm trying to, my face is, I'm like, what the fuck is it? It's like, there was supposed to be a big kaboom, but I can't remember how it starts.
That's what it says, or something like that.
Yeah.
So, we're specifically going to talk about 3 scientific theories that we may be... I just want to say...
I can't even name them other than the brains theory, which I don't even think it's called brains theory. That's just what my brain remembered.
A disclaimer as well, like...
Not a scientist.
Not a scientist, exactly. So we may be wrong. Is it cool if I talk about the bubble theory first?
Sure.
Okay, so again, I may be wrong, have no fucking idea. But, all the universes are, almost in, a bubble type form. Or not even necessarily a bubble. That's just the best way to describe it as,
Right, if this was a universe, right, it's one bubble. Right. And as it expands, more bubble pockets. That's how I understood it, as it expands, more, and space needs to be filled, another universe fills a bubble that formed in there. No, wait, that's the expansion one.
No, that's the expansion theory.
Yeah, my bad. The bubble one is it's all inside here, and it's all separate bubbles.
A bubble, but it's not like a real bubble. That's just what they say.
Right, it's just like to give you a conceptualization.
Right, so and one bubble cannot hit the other bubble.
Right, they're constantly moving. Yeah,
forward.
They're moving so fast that if it looks like you're getting there, by the time you get where that one is, the other one it's already gone.
Like
light years. Light years. Super fast.
Away. But there's like a shit ton of them, and we're all like traveling through time and space. So there's that.
Oh.
But I can't necessarily get behind this theory because with this theory we do not connect with the other universes at all. The other parallel universes.
See, and that's where I can't, because my biggest deal with multiverse theories / parallel universes is that I 1 billion million 100 fucking goddamn million% believe in timeline shifts, and that I've shifted timelines multiple times thus far in my current incarnation, based on things that we'll talk about as we get into our own theories.
I'm not necessarily like a timeline person. For me, let me explain in the best way I can. For me, the multiverse is not like, let's look at a stack of paper and they're all touching one another. For me, it's...
Oh, no, I don't think of it that way.
Well, I mean, I don't think that it's like there's...
The timelines can interact at all?
I think it does on rare occasion, but very rare
to me, when I say timeline shifting, it's the same as moving from one parallel universe to the other. It's
right.
That's and I believe you can move from one parallel universe to the other. So
without realizing it, is it just you, or is it the other people as well?
It can go. It just depends. It can go any which way.
And does the person in that parallel universe go into yours? Or what was yours? Because technically they're both yours.
It just so.
No, I'm just curious.
There's all sorts of different ways that timeline shifts can occur, right? That like from things I've read and from what I believe based on what I've heard and read myself.
Of course.
So like, it could be something akin to the you in this timeline dies, but the you from this timeline somehow replaces this you. Who knows what happens to the other timeline? You don't know. But certain things occur where you go, this isn't right. Like where the Mandela effect comes into play here, right?
But are you if you're you?
You're you, but your memories travel with you, right? So, like, have you anybody in your life ever had a conversation where you say, this is how this thing happened in our past? And they say, no, this is how this thing happened in our past. And it's very different accounts.
I guess no. I'm absolutely sure I have. I can't think of any off the top of my head.
But you know what I mean, right?
Sure. I guess maybe like the hospital situation with Freeman versus Mercy.
No.
That's the closest. That's the closest thing I can think of. But I know it has happened between me and my brothers. I just cannot think of.
Yeah, no, I understand. But so think about that, right? You and this other person, you both exist together. Your memories, you have memories together for the past 2 decades, 3 decades, your whole life, whatever. A specific event, whatever it may be. You vividly remember XYZ. They vividly remember XYZ. And perception is reality can't even come into play with this one. Because I fully believe in perception is reality. Here's your perception, here's their perception, and the truth lies somewhere in the middle, because everything that happens in that situation is colored by your own perception. That's not what I mean. I mean where it is vastly different. I mean where you say... I can't think of an example to come up with, but I mean, it's, you say this thing happened, and they say, absolutely not, this is how that went, and your brain goes, the fuck it did, right? Because your memory is absolutely not, like, I've had that happen on more than one occasion, whether it's over a conversation and what was said, over a night out and what happened, okay? There's been multiple times in my life where this has happened with my husband, with my siblings, with my older friends, like friends that I, like, went to high school with, that kind of shit, okay? So, in the timeline shifting theory, The reason that these problems happen is you existed in another timeline and you jumped timelines. So for you, you are 100% accurate. In the timeline you come from, the way that thing played out is how you fucking remember it. But in the timeline that you have moved to, this person you're talking to, that is exactly how that shit went. Does that make sense? Not like, do you believe it, but like, am I explaining it in a way that you understand what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying.
So like, that's what I mean by like, you know, things that happen with timeline switching. Like you can replace, whether it's that person died and you replace them before everybody in that reality knows that they are dead.
So what happens to the other one?
What happens to your own timeline? Who knows? You maybe
No,
you
I mean,
die
what happens to the one who died?
Well, they died.
There's not two bodies.
Well, no, because you have replaced that incarnation somehow in a timeline shift. Maybe they pop over to this other timeline and you're dead in the other timeline. I don't know because, you know, A, in my experiences with timeline shifts, and B, in what I know of timeline shifts, you know, like other people's experiences that I've read and heard about and things like that, you don't know what happens in the other timeline because you're not there anymore. You just subtly realize over time, like in the Mandela effect, where Mandela's alive in this timeline. I thought he died. Pizza Hut spelled with one T. Or the one that will never leave me that I learned of from the Conspiracy Me podcast. In the scary movies, right?
I know what you're talking about. Yeah. That's so crazy.
Grab my strong arm and grab my good arm. Corey's little brother passed away several years ago. But from the age of like, I don't know, 13 or 15 until probably within 3 years of passing away, this boy quoted that movie. And I know that line. Take my strong arm. I fucking know that line. But apparently, and I haven't gone and watched the movie, but apparently now, if you go watch that movie, if you go watch Scary Movie or Scary Movie 2, I don't remember which one, but it's the one with Chris, what the fuck his face is, and he's the butler. Mm-hmm. And it's like a
I've seen
the House on Haunted Hill or whatever.
It's The Exorcist. Well, the beginning's The Exorcist.
Well, like the setting, yeah, the girl pisses everywhere, but the setting of the house that they're in where most of the movie happens, isn't that like, I guess it really doesn't matter, but I was just trying to remember what horror movie that was from. The one with Liam Neeson.
There's so many horror movies.
Well, it's the one with Liam Neeson and Catherine Zeta-Jones and Lily Thomas from Mystic Pizza. Anyway, it doesn't matter, whatever. But in that movie where he's the butler and he's like, grab my strong arm, apparently now if you go watch that movie, it says grab my good arm. No, it doesn't. I know that movie. We watched it way more times than I ever care to watch that movie. Ever. Back in the days of no cable and we watched whatever DVDs we had, you know. Mm-hmm. And of course we had that because Ben loved it. So we watched that movie a lot. And I know that movie. There's no way it says, grab my good arm. It says, take my strong arm. It says, take my strong arm. I know. It's so gross because he's got the little thing and he sticks it in the turkey and he's like, you want some stuffing?
I thought he said, take my strong hand. That's what I thought.
Well, strong hand, strong arm.
I really...
But now they say it says good instead of strong.
The Mandela effect is nuts.
It is nuts. But, like, the Mandela effect goes hand in hand with timeline switching, which goes hand in hand with, you know, parallel universes / multiverse. So I'm with you on, I'm not with the bubble theory because since they can't come in contact, like, that's not where my brain goes with multiverse theory or parallel universes.
Me either, no, because I feel like that's a good way to explain why we can't, you know, get there to prove it. You know?
Yeah, it does. It is a good way to explain that. But at the same time, like, if we are in our own universe without some weird glitch in the Matrix happening. Sorry, just thought it was funny to say it that way. But if we are in our own universe and there's all these other universes, like, how can we leave our universe purposefully? Like, especially if they're like, with the expansion theory, if it's a universe within a universe, like, are you going to pop the bubble when you make your way through?
My theory on the multiverse is, and let me try and explain this correctly. So we're all here, okay? And then just slightly up is the next one. Like a stacked theory, okay? For example, I think I've said this multiple times to you anyway. So, ghosts. Are they really ghosts, or are they just people in the parallel universe? What are you having a conversation with yourself? Or like for poltergeist activity, oh my God, what the fuck? That glass just fell on the ground.
Right. Well, did that happen in another universe?
And somebody accidentally dropped it.
Yes. Abso-fucking-lutely. Right. Like, I believe that shit's possible too. Like, what? Like, I fully believe that too.
Well, and I believe that, here's where the spiritual aspect comes into it. I fully believe the fae and other woodland creatures and things like that are
from other universes, and sometimes they can cross the line.
Yes, well, it's not even like really cross the line. It's just like for a glimpse.
Right, like there. The veil is thinning.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm sorry, but like when you talk about the stacks,
it's like the veil.
I picture the world tree that they talk about in Norse mythology. You know what I mean? Like, this is on this level, this is on this level, this is on this level, and like that's what I thought when I read about the stacked multiverse theories.
I guess that's probably what I believe the most.
And they talk about it with Hinduism and another Eastern religion, but Norse mythology made me think it.
So maybe that's why
But like it makes sense, especially when you think of like gods and other creatures, right? So from the standpoint, let's talk about Norse mythology.
Higher.
Norse
we got the fourth dimension.
We've got everything in the land of the dead and whatever, and then you've got everything here, and then you've got the land of man, and then you've got the land of giants, and then you've got the Aesir up here. And it makes sense because it's each different level, and it's like, oh, well, we're in the third dimension, that's the fourth dimension, we're the land of the giants.
So,
and then the fifth dimension, because the fifth, like, earth, air, fire, water, spirit, fifth dimension is the gods.
Thank you. Like you're okay, so here's my theory, just mine. We've got the underworld, that's a dimension.
Yeah, that's
the first then above the dimension, I'm going to go ahead. I don't know. So I'm just going to go ahead and say
I'm having fun with this.
Men, people. Okay, so that, we're in the third dimension.
We're in the third dimension.
So I don't know what
something in between.
Right.
But what do the dead have to pass through, right?
Right,
Maybe
exactly.
the river Styx.
Right, so then
and don't the
Norse
have a water thing too between the land of man and the land of the dead?
I'm not sure entirely.
I think you had mentioned it once. Like you had talked about like a great river at the bottom.
At the bottom, yeah, there is. I don't know. It's where Odin lost his eye, but I don't know enough to go into that.
Yeah. No, I'm just like making like theories based on that, connecting Norse and Greek.
Right.
You've got the underworld, and then the way they get to the underworld,
or would that be
limbo, right? Limbo in Catholicism and Christianity, whatever. Yeah. Like, and then you've got the land of man,
and then
the
fourth
place
dimension
between death and people. I like it.
Right, and the fourth dimension for me, that would be when the fae and the woodland creatures and the higher people come in, and then like you said, the fifth dimension would be like the god.
The fourth dimension, they haven't lost their magic yet.
Right, but they're getting there.
Right, and that's.
Right. So
don't let the veil thin.
This is exactly how I see it. So, and in between those things is the veil. That's how it all makes sense to me. Because spiritually speaking, again, we've thrown science out the window.
Yeah, we're witches.
Yeah,
we're witches talking
in between
tarot, guys.
Each dimension or universe is that veil. And it's like really... I mean, to me, when I see it as like a silk veil. And then the closer and closer to the... Samhain, it thins and it becomes almost like the laciest like it's lace, and then it becomes silkier and silkier and silkier until you can see directly through it.
I see the veil like heavy cloud coverage, right?
Really, clouds. That's cool. That's cool.
Like as a vapory mist, right?
Mm-hmm. I apologize, guys. I have a cold, so if you hear me sniffling. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, this is what we do to bring you a good show. You know, we struggle through allergies and colds and detox water that brings out more allergies and
I hope
colds.
it helps. I'm eating the raspberries.
Yeah, I was like, I ate the strawberries and the pineapple and the cucumber, but I'm probably not eating the raspberries because I don't particularly.
It's the seeds for me.
Yeah, like I only do raspberries in like smoothie type of situations.
Yep.
And it's because I can just like chuck back the seeds. Yeah. But then again, like, as we've talked about with like Roma tomatoes, or not Roma tomatoes, like cherry tomatoes or whatever, I don't like the pop of the...
Oh, they have similar.
Yeah, they have a similar thing, just like with blackberries, because if I eat a blackberry from the garden, I like maybe crush it in my mouth a little bit so I get the juice, and then I swallow it whole because I will not chew that bitch.
Oh, I hate the seeds in my teeth.
Yeah, I hate it. But so I'll do it in a smoothie because I can just like drink that shit back.
So that's my theory when it comes to multiverse, specifically like spiritually. I like to think that the fifth dimension is, you know, like the gods, or some people see them as aliens, whatever. But definitely I think the fourth dimension would be in the realm of the Fae. I'm trying to think of other examples besides just fairies without sounding absolutely nuts. Because the realm of the Fae has
Bigfoot,
a lot.
because like missing 411, like there's an entire theory that aliens and Bigfoot come from other dimensions. Like that's where we get them from. Right. And like Missing 411 is a show that I like. That's where I learned about the Bigfoot theory of they possibly like have subterranean places that they live, whatever. But in that same line of thinking, also they could be disappearing into other universes, like parallel universes. And like people that go missing out in the fucking middle of nowhere, like belief is that maybe they're somehow wandering into or being transported into parallel universes. Like one of the most terrifying...
the time jump. But we're not talking about time jumping.
I know. That's why I'm like, I'm going to bring up Quantum Leap, but just a little bit. Because it's like a time jump thing, but also... Yeah. Anyway.
Outlander, anyone?
I wish. Oh, man.
Need time sexy Scott.
No, I'm like Quantum Leap with Scott Bakula. He was the handsome guy back in the 80s. But this thing that I heard on a Missing 411 documentary about this guy that went missing, and everybody was looking for him for a really long time. Like he went missing out in the middle of nowhere, right? And then one day he just like appears where he went missing at, and he's like,
I've been here the whole time.
He's like, why? He's like, why didn't you come to me? Like I saw you guys looking for me. I was hollering. What the fuck? But they were doing a search party, you know, where like everybody's within shoulder length of each other or whatever, so they cannot possibly miss anything. And they just right past him.
Wow, that's nuts.
Like, was he in a parallel universe and he could see them and they couldn't see him?
Or in the veil itself.
Stuck in the veil itself.
Right,
I hadn't thought about
between.
that. I hadn't thought about that. Stuck in limbo. In the in-betweens. Yeah. I hadn't thought about that. It was very interesting, like, when you bring that up, because, like, you know, from that in-between, that's how the Bigfoot, the alien, the fairies,
I want to say Nessie, but I kind of think that's an actual, like...
I really do, too. I think she's a throw-over from prehistoric times.
She's here.
She's from Scotland.
She's not in another universe. She's in our own.
Oh, Nessie.
But, like, you know, I don't want to sound lame when I say things like gnomes, but because the realm of Fae goes... It covers so much. It's not just fairies. It's gnomes. You've got dwarfs.
Brownies.
House elves. Not house elves, house brownies, but elves in general.
Elves in general. Leprechauns.
All sorts of shit. Because I believe in that shit. Fuck you if you're going to judge me. Like, also unicorns.
I believe anything's possible.
I think, first of all, unicorns...
and like the Domovoy. I'm just
going to say this, like, right now. Why is unicorn such a hard fucking concept to accept? That it's
Pegasus.
Real. It's not that hard.
Right. Like them horses just hiding their wings from you.
Griffins.
Sorry.
Is that what they're called? Griffins.
That's the winged lion. Yeah.
Lion and...
I don't know what the winged elephant is, but I have this beautiful print that my mom once got me from a
That's
gallery,
neat.
and it's Indian art.
I was going to ask if it was Indian.
Yeah, and it's winged elephants. It's in my bedroom.
Oh my God, flying pigs.
If you look at our Instagram, you might be able to catch a picture of it over my shoulder in one of our Instagram posts.
Oh, really? That's awesome. Yeah, I definitely believe in all those things, and I think people think I'm crazy when I say that. I'm like, no, but you don't understand, they're not in our dimension, and that just makes me sound...
Well, you also have to understand, I grew up watching The Last Unicorn, where she is a unicorn, and people have lost their magic, so they can't see her for what she is anymore. So
what if that's why we can't connect with the fucking universes? Because we've lost our...
Well, some of us, right? And it's
not
like all about...
us.
Right, not all of us, because like... Some people could see her for who she was in The Last Unicorn.
We opened the third eye.
Some people, exactly.
Oh
That's why I told you I see things when I'm taking walks in nature, and I believe it's because they're allowing me to see them because they recognize me and I recognize them.
Absolutely, and I don't think that's just you. I think there's a lot of witches and spiritual practitioners, myself included, that experience those things.
Right,
because
just like I see warnings that I'm not supposed to see, and it's like they go, hey, oh no, not for you. You can just see me. Don't carry on. You know
I saw
what I
a
mean?
Civil War soldier once.
Right.
Like I feel like I've talked about that so many times in this podcast, but I swear to God I had.
I mean, like I spend a lot of time on the road, and you know, like those stories about like the hitchhiker and the white lady on the road. I see those things, and then they rescind from me. Does that make sense? Like I see them, and then they're like,
gone.
oh, never mind. I'm not meant for you.
Dude,
see ya.
No, I totally,
you know what I mean?
I totally get it.
And I acknowledge them. I see them. Sometimes I even out loud, if my kids aren't in the car with me, I'll say some
together.
shit.
Remember we left out that fucking offering?
We did.
And it was like, bro, it was not a fairy light. Or what are they called? It wasn't a fire light.
Yeah.
A firefly.
Yeah. It was a fairy. Absolutely. That was not
It was like, first of all, that was an intense ritual.
Yes.
Like, and so the fact that we say, it was not a bug. It was not a fucking firefly. It was a fairy. Okay, fuck you. Like, it
can
really...
I tell them that we called the rain?
You can. But
we called the rain, guys. We really did.
Right,
we brought a storm. Like, I'm not talking the craft bullshit. We brought the rain. We brought a storm on, and it was the most magical day.
It was so magical because like we left out the offering for the Fae, and then as we're walking away, both of us just see out the corner of our eye. It was very small. Not all Fae are small, I understand. Yeah. But the one that let us see it was. Yeah. And I think it was definitely just saying,
and I think it was like an offering back. Yeah, or a thank you. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Like, I don't know, I feel like when they allow you to see them, whatever it is, whether it's a spirit or a fey creature.
Because they have that connection more than we do, because we're just the third dimension.
Right, yeah, so they allow you to. And it's like, it's a gift if you're able. Exactly. Like, literally, I think that's why it's called the gift. Like, in the old days, if you could communicate with spirits, see spirits, hear spirits, like, I've started smelling them. That's weird.
Some people do. Some people smell perfume, tobacco, smoke.
Yep. See, that was my... well, actually, I smelled Shelby. That was my first time of, like, realizing I was smelling a spirit, because I straight up smelled her. But she was out there for a hot minute before I smelled her, and I was like... Is it just like a residual? But like I had already cleaned up her beds and everything, but I smelled her. She was with me. And then I because I had invited her inside. Like I was visiting her out there. And then like, I was like, I hope you have somewhere warm to go. And then I was like, wait, if you're here, come inside. Like you're welcome inside. You're welcome inside. And it was after I had said that I smelled her.
That's so scary. I'm too scared to do that. I've seen Annabelle.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like that's what I would be worried.
Shelby, it's not.
I like that. I like that thought process. I like that.
But then when I did my first funeral on Ostara, like our Ausch release ceremony,
right.
And I was in a smoker's house. Don't get me wrong, but nobody was smoking. There wasn't active smoking going on, and I kept smelling a lit cigarette and at one point a lit cigar.
Oh yeah.
And I asked her later, after we'd done it, everything was done, I said, was somebody that we released today a smoker? Like, because, and I let her answer. And then I explained to her, like, there were 3 different occasions that I smelled cigarette smoke, and neither she nor her husband, who were the smokers in the household at the time, had a lit cigarette or had been smoking within a couple minutes of that. And it was as if somebody was walking around me smoking. And I was like, okay, I'm not batshit.
So I'm curious then, since we believe, I'm assuming we're both on the same kind of like mindset of like them being in the fourth dimension, or no? Or are you just saying you understand?
No, I truly do believe that in
spiritual,
that. Yes,
like,
yes. Because I believe that, there's that and then there's something where, like, in between that and the gods, in my view on things, there is a place where the ascended go. Not the place of the dead, but the place of the ascended.
Like nirvana almost.
Yes, exactly. Yes. So, like, because in my view of things, the place of the dead is like the Elysian fields. And to a very big degree, I believe in, like, reincarnation,
or
right?
Tartarus.
So I don't think you stay there. And I don't think you stay in the ascended path either.
You don't think
I think because if you believe in reincarnation, then, like, I believe that you can choose to come back. I do believe in choice with reincarnation.
Oh, I absolutely agree.
So I believe that, you can be there and you can choose.
You may not remember you made this choice,
right.
and you may resent yourself for
right. You may be choice. Like, you ever see that
what
soul contract?
What was I thinking?
Why did I sign up for that shit? Why now? Why did I come back now? What the fuck? Because the world needs you, Starseed. The world needs you, Starseed. I saw that meme where it's like, bitch, I'm gonna hit you.
Right, because it's like when they ask who wants to come back and someone volunteers you.
Yes, I love that one. But I also love the one where it's the guy from Step Brothers that's not Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
John C. Reilly.
Love John C. Reilly.
I love John C. Reilly.
I do.
And I love the meme where it's like, why did I choose to come and incarnate now? Because I like to party.
Oh my God.
I just shared that on Amber is the Color, like, within the last 2 weeks. Yeah. Love that.
So by the way, I've been getting a lot of posts, Amber is the Color posts on my
good.
My timeline. I think I got like 3 today. I don't know if you made them.
I have been trying to, like, just mass do it since I can't schedule them anymore.
Right.
I just fucking.
Well, that's like, okay. You're busy. You
exactly. So I'm just like, I've been trying to make it like one funny, one spiritual, and one that's like personal growth uplifting at a time. Like, I'm trying to do it in 3s because 3 is the magic number.
Like, for Peace, Love, and Tea Leaves, honestly, my problem is I'm running out of fucking memes. I feel like I'm running out of memes.
Should I admit that I have been going back like to 3 years ago in my phone?
No, because I have done the same thing. Because I'm like, repost, but the shit funny.
Right, yeah. Like, and some of them it is hard to run a Facebook
I will
admit. I'll be like, I will always share this one, right? And some of them I'm just like, maybe you didn't follow me then. Maybe you didn't see that one.
I'm the same way, absolutely.
Yeah. It's so funny.
My original...
I shared an Epstein post yesterday or the day before.
They're like, that was from 3 years ago.
I know. Well, what I put was, still funny, because it is the Family Guy Pepperidge Farm guy, right?
Farm,
remembers? So it says, remember when Epstein didn't kill himself? America still remembers.
Oh, God.
And I said, still funny. We have a Washington, D.C. viewer. If you're with the government, that one was for you.
Right.
If you're with the Clintons, don't unalive me.
No comment. I'm too scared.
Please tell them not to unalive me. I don't want to be unalived.
I'm afraid of Hillary Clinton. I'm afraid of Bill Clinton.
No, you know what? I'm not.
You know what? I
come at me, bros.
I think I have.
Don't come at me.
I say this in a semi-joking manner. I think I may have a little bit of paranoid thoughts sometimes. You know that's true. And not as bad as some people.
I feel that truth. I feel that. I am.
So,
I'm paranoid in my own ways.
Oh, right. For me, it's like, oh my God, it's the government. Well, no, I don't want to say it's the government. It's not just the government, because we were doing simulation theory, and I was like,
Is it aliens?
I'm scared. What are you?
Is it AI? Is it the Illuminati? Do the Knights Templar still exist?
I'm like, who's watching me right now? I don't know which person it is, but like...
It's Amber.
I'm like, don't even tell me because it'll freak me out even more. But someone.
Wouldn't it be funny if we did really have a government listener who thought all of our commentary is hilarious? They're like, know. These girls are afraid the government is listening.
And we hilarious.
Yeah, like I am, but I'm just a pencil pusher. I don't matter. But
right. He's
he's just
I love
so
my
funny.
Job. And then
he's that guy that
Tuesdays.
Was listening to Love Flies Away and left that awesome review.
Yeah, right. Our
Bobby, you work for the government, don't you?
So my original question.
Anyway,
I'm so sorry.
No, I did not mean to sideswipe us.
We haven't even gotten into pop culture.
Oh my god!
But my original question was: so since the Fae and things like that are fourth dimension, they can choose whether or not we can see them. We have to open our third eye to communicate with them.
Agreed.
Now, since the underworld is lower, right? So would you say first?
I would.
Okay.
I really do believe
would that,
if there's a scheme of things, if there's a level in that regard, that would.
I'm like, I need to write this shit in my book of shadows because I fully wholeheartedly believe it.
No,
and I
like from a spiritual perspective, to me, the place of the dead at the bottom makes sense.
Me too. I totally agree. So when it comes to communicating with the dead, would it be the same as communicating with the fourth dimension where you have to open your third eye and become enlightened?
If you want to cross that veil conscientiously,
whether on top or on bottom.
Whichever way you want to go, absolutely. And honestly, I do believe that it would be more difficult to open up enough to communicate with the dead than with the, let's call them the fourth dimension beings.
Okay.
Because of the fact that in my belief, there has to be a level between the dead and man.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, like limbo, the river Styx, whatever you want to call it.
I see what you're saying, right? You know? Not just the veil, but because we are the third dimension, there has to be a second dimension.
Exactly.
But what if we don't even know what it is?
But so you have to get through that place, and you have to find a level of understanding to even venture into that place. This is my personal belief, guys. This is just my personal belief.
Well, and there's different meditations you can do. Again, I'm a very paranoid bitch, so I may not do them myself, because what if I get trapped?
Right.
You know what I mean? But
we talked to that guy about astral projection and how to, control, and oh my goodness. Anyway, I might do that shit. But I know, I want to. You'll know about that one in several months, because that's one of our maternity leave episodes.
Yes, and also I do want to try that meditation. But there's a meditation, I'm morbidly curious, and I will use the word morbid. Doesn't mean I'm necessarily going to do it. I'd love to talk to someone who has done it, but I have too much anxiety, okay? I don't think right now I'm at the point, and I'm sure you may feel the same way.
Sorry.
Oh, no, it's okay. I am not at the point where I feel comfortable in my own mental health to do this meditation, and it's you lay down in a dark place, probably before bed, most likely, you should be alone, okay? And you pretend like you've died. And then you pretend in your mind during this meditation, you go through a burial process in a coffin. And you imagine your body rotting and the decomposition of your body. And once you get through the decomposition and the worms and shit, you fully descend into the underworld, and that's how you astral project or meditate into the underworld. Now the thing
what the fuck? Do you know what a fucked up ass kid I was? Because I did that on a
oh my god! No,
I did that on a regular basis of my own fucking accord. Yes, I was suicidal and depressed a lot, and I fully imagined an entire funeral process and what happens to my body and how it moves, and then I have to go face my fate. Like, I legitimately did that on a regular basis.
Would you do it again? With a more spiritual outlook on it. So
I would.
The only thing that is preventing me personally from it.
I'm sorry, like if you saw my face scrunching up, it's because I'm like, I fucking did this as a child.
No, it's okay. Well, maybe that's your gift. Maybe it's part of your gift.
Maybe because
you've
already done it.
Bitch, you are so connected with Persephone. Maybe it has something to do. It does. Not like necessarily
but why the underworld.
Right.
Yeah, because you guys, you don't see me in real life, but I'm not one of those goth bitches. I don't wear black all the time. I actually I didn't have to buy, but my favorite t-shirt of 311's at the 311 concert last night. Because if you follow us on Twitter, I promised I'd talk about it, so I have to do that. But at first, the shirt that Corey assumed I would want and that I did want, no, that wasn't a shirt. It was the tour promo poster. So it was not wearable, and I was like, I want something I can wear, damn it. Because my last 311 shirt got disintegrated in my early 20s. It was blue, and it was white with blue 311, white and blue 311 logo on it. And blue's my favorite color. So I really wanted to like the blue shirt they had, but it looked like Adam Sandler playing the guitar from behind, and I could not get into it, even though it was all different colors of blue. So I got the black shirt, because there was another one, but I didn't like the design as well because it said Tulsa on it and it had Tulsa cityscape, which is cool. It's a tribute to Tulsa, and if I lived in Tulsa, maybe I would have wanted that shirt. But I just drove to Tulsa to see 311. So I got the black shirt because it was the only other option of the two I didn't like. And it has a bee on it with a third eye, which I love because I'm into bees with Mokosh and all. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Not bees, not the letter.
Yeah, no, it has a honey bee.
Okay.
And the honey bee has a third eye.
I was over here how
does a bee have a third eye?
I know that
B-E-E.
Okay.
Yeah, like my bee painting, right? You know?
Yes.
But so I don't know. I thought that was really cool. There was a point. Oh, I don't wear black. That was the point of that. I bought a black shirt last night because it was 311, and I've been waiting to see them live since I was probably about 14 years old. So for 24 years, I have wanted this. And I'm sorry, Nick. I hope you don't listen ever, because this might hurt his feelings. But the lead singer, these guys have been doing their music for 32 years, okay? So they were in their 20s when they started. So they're in their 50s now, right? And dude's on stage trying to do the same shit he used to do back in the 90s and the 2000s. Man, we know you're in your 50s. You don't have to... it looked like he hurt himself so many times on stage. And I'm an asshole, and I laughed every time. I was like, stop doing it, dude. You're in your 50s. Just give up the ghost. But it's okay, because I'm almost 40 out there dancing and having a fucking blast because teenage Amber has wanted this her whole life. Because 311 is one of my top three. Sublime, when Bradley was still alive, is my favorite band, and I don't mean to be a bitch about it, but sorry, Sublime with Rome is not the same thing, and I don't listen to them really. So my top three now of people I could see are 311, Dirty Heads, and Slightly Stupid. So it's 311 I have liked and known of longer than the other two bands. So I had a fucking blast. And that is the only reason I bought a black shirt. But otherwise, I don't wear a lot of black. But that said, I have a thick connection to the underworld. And I believe part of it has to do with my ancestors. Well, I think that comes with the type of stereotype.
You see a pretty happy... I shouldn't say pretty because we're all beautiful.
Yes.
But you see a very upbeat, a witch in bright pastels, bright colors. You assume that, oh my God, that must be
she's the love and light bitch.
Right,
which
exactly.
I am to a degree, but you've also heard me
but don't
I would process my ancestors' bones.
Right.
I will drive my husband's dead body up to the top of a mountain to give him a sky funeral. I will do these things because I am connected to death because it's part of life. So I am a love and light bitch when it comes to my magic itself, but in my attitudes about death, I'm not I don't shy away from it. Does that make sense?
No, it makes absolute sense. So the thing that I can't get past with the meditation is just imagining myself rot. I think that's a lot of people. I think that's pretty normal. That's the only part. The funeral, I can get through.
As an adult, that is my biggest
cringe fear.
But I want to change attitudes on death. So I feel that will just help me. I think that will help me with my goal for our spiritual journey.
Don't take everything that I say. I would do research first because I'm not saying I gave wrong information, but because that's such an intense spiritual thing. I mean, it's astral projection. I would definitely look into that.
No, but I think that's a great way of doing it, because I've told you I want to find a safe way to project back to the underworld, because it's under duress, I did project to the underworld.
Drugs. What do you do? No, I'm just kidding.
See, that is the one thing I
don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't know about psychedelics mixing with
imagining yourself rot.
Well, that too. But I was just thinking the underworld, like, in general, like,
I don't know, because when I think that, I think you need psychedelics. But so did a lot of people. You know what I mean? Granted, and, you know, that's just me. I don't think you need it. Please let me verify. I don't think it's necessary, but I think that would help. That's just me.
So,
like peyote.
As an individual who has a bit of experience, I will say that for myself and my headspace, I have communed with the goddess. I have communed with Apollo.
I'm sure you fucking have. And I don't mean that in a shitty way. I mean that in
if I finish the sentence, the words that come out of my mouth may make me sound crazy, but like, Apollo lifted me up into the air and we had a wonderful, loving session below the stars together one night.
Like from The Exorcist?
No, not like from The Exorcist at all. No. It was like the wind lifted me up into the wind, up into the wind, up into the wind, and then we were at the stars. And there was loving things that
is that why you don't see Apollo as super gay like I do?
Because probably not. Because I
can tell you, Maddie, he's not super gay.
I've experienced it. But it sounds crazy.
It's so funny that you bring this up, because
guys,
last
please
night,
don't think Amber's crazy.
No, it's weird. Like, okay,
Amber's
we're weird.
Spiritual and does psychedelics for religious purposes.
Plus, we're fucking weird.
Yeah.
Last night I was just thinking about having sex with a god. But my thought was, what if you're having sex with someone and you're thinking of a god? Is that like you're having sex with a god? Is that what that means?
Well, in a way, yes, because I was just looking into Glamorous. Oh my God. We have to do an episode on Glamorous and get into further.
I don't know. I was doing research on Zeus, or I had watched a movie, or I don't know. Something. I was thinking about Zeus, and I was like, what if it's not like
For the record, I was fully married, and this was not physical. This was the wind that made love to me. I did not cheat on my husband. I just want that known.
I mean, they're Greek.
Yeah. But he's not. He's a Viking. I don't know how that works. Try and fight the gods.
But I really had that thought last night. I have to give you full what I was doing when I had this thought. So I'm sitting on the toilet. And I'm on my phone.
You got your nice bidet going.
Oh my God, no.
Not yet, not until after.
But I was on my phone, and I was doing, I was looking at memes, I think, for the Facebook page, and it was about Zeus. And I was like...
Oh my God, you shared the funniest one on Peace, Love, and Tea Leaves. I just saw it this morning. It was about Persephone.
Yeah, right? Oh my God. Well, that was when I found that shit.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. That was just fucking hilarious.
If you have sex, and in your mind you're thinking about the god... Are you having sex with the god? Is that a way of having sex?
But I believe that, yes.
I do. I think so too. I think it's not like...
And let's be clear, I did not summon Apollo. Okay? I don't want to sound super crazy.
Well, it's okay.
It happened, but I didn't call him to me in any way, shape, or form. It happened, but in a natural way. God, this sounds so fucking crazy.
No, it's okay.
I feel for every woman that ever had to explain Zeus, ever. He was a swan. I don't know, man. God damn.
What if she had the same experience you did, but she was just laying on the beach? And...
I know. That's what I'm saying. I feel bad for every woman. Do you get
raised into another dimension, or do the gods come to ours?
Oh, I definitely was not on the ground anymore. Like, I guess my body was, but I wasn't. Does that make sense? Like, I was not on the ground when this was happening. But my body was laying on the ground the whole time.
Are you sure it was Apollo if it was dark? Because, I mean, he's the god of the sun.
Yeah. Well, he's the god of music. We made beautiful music. He's the god of music. I don't think it was Zephyr. And if it was Zephyr just carrying me to Apollo. I've never been... You don't hear me talk about... You don't hear me talk about Apollo much. I'm not a big follower of Apollo, so...
Except to say that he's not gay, Maddie. He's not gay.
Because of my experience with him. But... And I don't... Like, I let you have... Like, I just don't see him that way because of... I just... Yeah, like, I've never perceived him in that super gay way. But also because of my experience and the fact that it came to me that I was with Apollo out of nowhere is where I believe it was Apollo. Because music was going on in my head and maybe I did call him to me through music. I mean, like, I won't lie, when I was at the concert last night, I got all fucking... We're being weird witchy right now, so I'll tell you how
this whole episode is weird witchy.
Yeah. So... I'm at the concert, and I'm dancing, and I'm having a good old time, and I'm like, there's 2 guys in front of me, and then there's the stage, okay? Like, I was up close, and I made sure I was up close. Like, we got there early, and, like, I staked my ground, because, like, I thought I was being polite and keeping, like, a big enough bubble, right? But then people are like, oh, excuse me, and just getting in front of me. And I'm like, no, I was just being polite to the guys in front of me so I didn't knock into them when I'm dancing at this concert. But we're not going to play that way because I'm going to be moving. This is like somewhere between like, because Amber is a punk rock kid that learned to dance on Beale Street in Memphis. So, to rap music. So it's something between twerking and headbanging that I'm doing at my 311 concert here. So, and I know that this is how it's going to go because that's how I dance to 311 in my bedroom or my bathroom or my backyard or wherever else I'm dancing to 311. So I am dancing and I hear this guy talk about the chick that's dancing all over the place. And I'm just like, y'all are lucky my husband's here to be embarrassed by me. Because otherwise I'd have danced right back into him, you know? Because like, oh, where's the space? Like, you guys just got here and pushed your way up to the front. I've been waiting for over an hour to see these motherfuckers. I've been waiting for over 24 years to see these motherfuckers. I'm gonna fucking dance. There was a point to that where...
Apollo.
I'm
sure he was there.
Yeah. So, okay, so music, yes. So I'm dancing, and then I realize, like, vibrations are cleansing. Sound is a cleanser. So I just start pulling the energy to me from the music coming at me, and I'm just like, cleanse me with the fucking spirit of 311. And I'm like... I wonder how weird witchy this looks, or how weird this looks to everybody. I went just like from doing my like, because like in 311 they're like a punk band, but one of the guys, he does like rap kind of lyrics, right? And like he's my favorite. His name's S.A. Martinez. And so whenever S.A. is like up there rapping, I'm like doing the thing with the hands because that's how I dance. Because I used to be a rave kid back in the 90s and I danced with my hands a lot because I'd hold glow sticks and dance and then just be mesmerized by my own hands. Because that's what you did at raves when they were illegal, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, I did a lot of illegal stuff back in the day. But so I'm like, I go from all this like that weird dancing to I'm standing there just like pulling the energy with me to my hand, like through my hands. And I'm like, send out with my right, receive with my left. And I'm like doing all this weird shit. And I'm like, I wonder how weird that looks. Like it went from like this huge change because I decided like, as a witch, I'm just going to soak up all this fucking energy. Because...
The energy from the band itself in particular.
Yeah. Yeah, the energy they're giving off, the energy from the vibes.
You were emo-vamping everybody.
I don't mean everybody in the room. From the music itself, yes. From the vibrations from exactly. Because vibrations are cleansing.
Absolutely.
And like once that clicked in my head, because like honestly, before they came on, I was doing some like building my power in my hands.
Oh my God! What if you go viral and you're like,
oh my God!
Like I'm not hating because like like when no one's around, I do some pretty embarrassing.
I do, but usually it's when nobody. It shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be.
So that's why I was like, you know what? If anybody's watching me, fuck them anyway. And I'm like building this energy, and I'm like, put this white light around me so nobody's shit can like fuck with me. This is my night. This is like for me. This is my Valentine's Day present from my husband.
Right.
And if Gia hadn't had an accident, like it was going to be a bigger night. It was going to be like we were going to go out to a fancy dinner. We were going to stay the night in a hotel. Blah 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 blah. But you know, it is what it is. And in a different timeline, maybe I never, you know, maybe Gia didn't get in an accident and I had an even better night. But it was fucking awesome, regardless. But speaking of timelines, we'll bring it back into episode. So we've talked about bubble theory. We've talked about expansion theory.
Yeah, a little bit, I think. I think you brought it up, yeah.
Yeah. Do we want... expansion theory is the Big Bang itself has never stopped moving, which we know from a scientific perspective.
Yes. And we're continuing to stretch out and grow. Yes.
And as that space grows...
More universes, pocket universes.
Yeah, pockets pop up in there, and they're filled with new universes, which are inherently then younger than the original universe, right? Mm-hmm. And is that the one that you said that like you feel the most? No, the different levels. Is
the different levels.
The most.
Also, maybe this goes with the expansion theory. I had read that like. Since we're still, this is expansion theory, since we're still growing and different things are continuing to be created, well, matter can only be changed so many times, and we're all matter. So, for example, you're going to shuffle your cards, and you're going to pull a 3, a 4, and a 5. Well, we're going to shuffle the 3, the 4, and the 5, and because we already have those, so the 4 is going to go first, the 3, and then the 5, and then the 5, and then the 4, and then the 3, and then the 5, 3. You know, like, and it's just everything.
You can only have so many combinations of a thing.
Yes.
Which is so funny because I was just talking, and I think I maybe even talked to you about it, and maybe even I've mentioned it on the podcast. I'm watching this show called Dark with Corey, right? Yeah. It's a German show. Mm-hmm. And all of the teenager people on the show, not so much the adults, but the teenager individuals in the show, they all look like recycled people I saw back in like the 90s. Like really? One of them, we call him Baby Goo Goo Dolls because he looks so much like the lead singer of the Goo Goo Dolls.
Really?
One of them looks so much like a combination of Brad Renfro and this guy I went to school with.
Weird. That's like, so weird.
It's fucking weird. And I was saying last night or the night before to my family, like, in the scheme of things, in humanity itself, which, oh my God, it goes into the... In humanity itself, there's only so many combinations of DNA that can occur.
Well, you have doppelgangers.
Exactly. Oh, you have doppelgangers. And, like, the fact that so many, like, even though people aren't related, sometimes they look alike because you can only have so many combinations of genes come out looking so many different ways, right?
Which means we probably look exactly like one of our ancestors at some point.
Probably. And you've seen that meme that they call, like, Keanu Reeves, like, timeless, ageless vampire.
Right.
Because there's the picture of him, and then there's all these old paintings of other people that look just like Keanu Reeves. Mm-hmm. And so then earlier I was telling you that from the standpoint of a lot of the things that we've been reading into, and you were telling me about this thing Bryson had told you to read, or that you had read after talking to Bryson, I can't remember. But and it made me say, like, I had this thought that our bodies are a universe to other creatures, things living inside of us, and like all of it, and it almost is like an animism thing in the way I think of it, because it's like there's like cities and towns and everything like existing inside me, and they don't think of themselves as parts of a body. They're like living in houses, working jobs, doing what they do.
They die.
I guess. But from the same standpoint, like we're little things living in a bigger thing itself as well. Like, the world that we know is just part of a little, like, what is it that Bryson had said? Like an atom within a larger structure. Yeah. And we're just in that atom. That's our entire existence.
Or it's not even a larger structure. It's a smaller structure is within us. Like, everything just gets smaller and smaller.
And that's where, like, our bodies are a universe. And, like, we were talking, like, the uterus, when you put it up against roots of a tree.
Or it was the placenta.
The placenta against roots of a tree. Or your
fingerprints and the rings of a tree.
Yeah, fingerprints and the rings of a tree.
The things in our eyes look like, the veins in our eyes look like lightning.
Yeah. Like, exactly, like, how it all, like, goes together. I don't know, like, all of these things for me fall into, like, parallel universe shit. Like, because if there is a universe within me, if I'm a universe and you are a universe A, that makes a whole lot of fucking, like, spiritual ass sense things fall into place, right? When it talks about, like, we are made of stardust, we are made of earth, we are one with the universe. Yeah, because each of us is a universe inside a universe that is made of more of us that live with other universes that are more of us. Sorry, is that crazy? Did I go too far?
No. It all makes so much sense.
I mean, it does. It really does. To me. To me. And then there's, like, the other theory that I wanted to mention because it also made sense to me in a lot of ways is the brain theory, which is brain like membrane, not my brain or your brain, but membranes.
Insane.
Which, insane in the membrane. Sorry, if I could see Cypress Hill live, I would. I still, like, my big brother, if we ever have a chance to go see Cypress Hill together, dreams. Shit would be
manifestation.
Bomb. Fuck yeah, manifestation. Make it happen. Corey's worried that I'm a little too pale to walk up into a Cypress Hill concert and not get assaulted. Like, physically by people that don't like me.
Really? I don't know Cypress Hill.
Cypress Hill is, they seem pretty rough and tumble from the standpoint of...
Oh, shit, this hurts really.
Oh, nice. I do love me some Cypress Hill. Especially Hits from the Bong. That song is great. But the membranes theory, or the brains theory is that, like, the way I understood what I read is it's almost like a bunch of little boxes that are all up against each other, and these are all the different parallel universes, like if you think of a stack of bricks, you know, and they're all next to each other, and sometimes they butt into each other, and sometimes when they butt into each other, that's where we get, like, solar flares, or, you know, this earthquake that happened, or in my view on things, and which is why I latched onto the brains, why I latched onto the brains thing when I read it was maybe when they knock into each other is when somebody gets shifted from their timeline to another timeline, i.e. from one universe to the next, because the knocking of these two membranes into each other disrupted things enough that, you know, a handful of people got moved here. And that's why these people, from the Mandela effect perspective, remember the scary movie line of strong arm versus good arm.
Wow. That's an interesting theory.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites, but I really, from a spiritual perspective, like, this one makes a lot of sense, the layering theory, especially from my views on afterlife and things like that. It makes sense, you know? But then I go, well, that could just be our universe, and it's multiple universes inside one membrane. And then another membrane, right? Another membrane, another membrane. Like, I know, ending. It's never ending. It's like, I know you don't watch Rick and Morty, but there's one episode where, like, they become unstable. And so now their one timeline gets split into two timelines.
Oh my God, no, and I've seen this episode.
Yes, and, like, so...
Are they in the garage, and there's, like, I know.
And so, my husband likes it, that's why I know. The reason I bring up that episode is because, like, when I talk about the membranes theory, I picture when it's, like, all 96... you know, of the different Rick and Morty and Summer
or Brian and Stewie's a good one too.
Oh, Brian and Stewie in the multiverse. Fuck yeah, they go to all the different multiverses.
Yes, they do.
I love Stewie's inventions. I
love Stewie and Brian.
Oh yeah,
they're so cute together. It's a kidness dog.
He is. I know, and I love the way that they made that in the latter, because in the beginning, exactly, and it became like him and I love that. I do. Because at first it was like Peter was the boy and his dog. Yeah. And then it became Stewie was the boy and his dog, and it's so much better.
I agree, because it's the boy and his dog. They're friends. But I love Family Guy. I cannot lie. So the multiverse is also mentioned in Doctor Who. Don't know who is a huge fan. I've watched until like season 12. I watched until halfway through the 12th Doctor. So the one I'm referring to is the 10th Doctor. Amber's never seen it, so she doesn't know.
Well, I've seen parts. I don't watch Doctor Who as a show. My kids watch it. Because my buddy Dan used to babysit them, and he got them into Doctor Who.
Oh, I love Doctor Who.
I have lots of friends into Doctor Who, so I will share the
I love
memes
Doctor
all the
Who.
time.
I don't watch it because I'm not paying $30 for a season.
No, yeah, fuck
No,
that.
I'll wait.
That's why when I said Ugly Americans is an expensive show to watch, also not paying $30 for a season.
Yeah, that's why we haven't gotten caught up. But the 10th regeneration of the Doctor with Rose Tyler, his companion. I was in love with her. Loved her. Fuck you if you say otherwise. Rose and the Doctor. 100%. Anyway, point is, she gets sucked into another universe. And she can't get back.
Yeah.
So
because you can't cross, right? You can't purposefully
cross.
Yeah.
Because if he crosses the universe, then he's going to destroy a whole other universe.
Right? And see, okay. So I love that you mentioned that because, there's a show from the 80s called Quantum Leap where it's more of a time... It's more of a time travel show, right? Because the whole thing is the very first episode, Dr. Sam, he jumps time before he's supposed... he goes through with the experiment before everybody says it's ready. And he winds up back in fucking 1956, the day before my birthday, September 13th, 1956. And
what?
He's
You weren't born in 56.
No, I wasn't born in 56. Just September 13th, the day before my birthday. So that's why I latched on to that's the first episode is September 13th, 1956, because that's what it's called. It's called Genesis or regeneration, whatever. But it's my birthday, almost, not quite. Anyway, he gets stuck, and he has to get back to his own time. The whole show is. Sam gets transferred. Scott Bakula is the actor, and he goes from one timeline to the next, or not timeline, but one year to the next as a different person. So he is inside you, and nobody fucking knows it, because I see you, but you inside you're Dr. Sam Beckett, and you don't know why the fuck you're this 20-something-year-old. Well, it's a show, and they made that into a movie.
I think on Amazon Prime. I think actually it's like a romance, or it's same concept. Guy wakes up in a new body every day, and the girl has to find her boyfriend, and he's always someone new. He's a woman. He's a different race. He's, it's actually really cool.
No, the Quantum Leap's really fucking cool because he goes into your body. And he does something good for you. He improves your life. He prevents you from dying too young.
Yeah.
He prevents you from giving birth to a stillborn baby. I'm sorry. That was the first episode. That's why. That is the only reason I said that. Because that's the first 2 episodes is he goes into this pilot who's supposed to die when he's testing a Mach 3 plane. And because he dies, his wife goes into premature labor. And so their daughter's never born because she's born stillborn. But instead, they... prevent the pilot from dying. The pilot survives. And Sam knows that he's not the pilot. He only survives because the other powers that be in the show help him fly the Mach 3 and not die. And his wife does go into premature labor because she hears the crash and so she thinks he's dead. But then he shows up at the hospital and she's in premature labor and they're all like, we don't know what to do. And he's like, well, just give her this stuff. Because in real life, he's in his current time, he's a doctor. So he's like, just do all this stuff. And they're like, the fuck are you talking about? It's 1956. We don't know the words. It just came out of your mouth and you're a pilot. Why are you talking medical shit? Right?
Oh, so finally, it's called the butterfly effect. You're fucking everything.
Exactly. That's why I'm bringing it up for this, because every episode he changes stuff. So people survive that would have died. Doesn't that create more timelines?
Right. I wasn't going to say that. I was going to say chaos.
Well, chaos too, but wouldn't that create more timelines, or that changes the future, like in the butterfly effect? One of the goddamn 2. But it can't stay the same after he's gone back and changed it so that people aren't dying and people are being born. And I don't know. Like I
got me fucked
I haven't
up.
watched Quantum Leap for a really long time, and I love that fucking show. And it's free on.
I'll have to check that
Damn
out.
it! I can't remember what it's free on, but I found it for free. Oh, the Roku channel. It's free on the Roku channel. So yeah, super interesting. And I was like, you talk about her being sucked into another universe, and it's like he gets sucked into one timeline after another.
That's
trying to find his way home.
I do want to watch the new one, I'm not going to lie, but that one sounds good too.
Yeah, is it called Quantum Leap? Or?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
It's more like plot. A young adult romance, actually.
Yeah, well, and Sam, like, in the 3rd or 4th episode, like, he sees the woman that apparently leaves him at the altar in the future, and he tries to, like, fix their relationship before they've even met. Like, 12 years.
He's fucking everything.
I know!
Like, is that ever addressed?
I don't remember. It's been so long. I just started over again.
So with Doctor Who, she's sucked into another universe. Unfortunately, the Doctor can't go get
because
her
you can't
you can't travel through universes because that was like a very rare occurrence or some shit.
Right, because it would fuck stuff up. Because wouldn't it put him in multiple universes?
No, it would literally blow up an entire universe. And unfortunately, the 10th Doctor wouldn't do that to get Rose, but the 9th Doctor would. Damn it, he would do it. So, like, the only way he can talk to her is, like, by projecting himself from one universe into another, and it only lasts for, like, 5 minutes. And she's like, I love you. And he's like, Rose Tyler, I love... And then he's gone. He's gone.
That's like a curse of some kind.
It was horrible. Multiverse is also addressed. First of all, Doctor Strange... into the multiverse. Marvel has finally, after literally so many years, and I say so many years because I'm pretty sure these comics started in the 60s and in the 70s, finally are jumping into the multiverse version of the comics, and they're able to do that because we have the technology now. Unfortunately, not to go to and from the multiverse, but without it looking absolutely fucking dumb, like in the 80s or 90s. I'm sorry, I don't know offense, everyone.
Oh man, 80s and 90s movies are pure camp.
Yeah. So now they have the technology to do it without making it dumb. But like,
well, I won't lie. Like, there's a late 90s, early 2000s movie of Gwyneth Paltrow that I've mentioned before called Sliding Doors.
Yeah.
And the movie is, she makes, like, one thing happens, and this is the entire way her life goes. Mm-hmm. Another thing happens, this is the entire way her life goes, right?
Oh my God, wait. Have you seen The Lake House?
Yes!
Is that
how does that one work? Is that time? Because, like, but aren't they in the same time, but in the same
She's
place?
writing a letter, and he's 5 years ahead of her. So they're in this, while he's staying at the lake house, and they put the letter in the mailbox.
And that's how it does, but I don't remember.
I don't know if...
Yeah, I don't remember the way that plays out. So I'm not sure.
I don't know if that would be, but that's a good movie.
Stuff. Yeah, it is a good movie. I haven't seen it for a while.
Because he dies, and she's like, no, don't do this. Please see the letter. Meet me at this time and this date. And it's like 5 minutes ahead. And then he does, because he saw the letter, and they're finally brought back to each other. Yeah, it's really good.
I did not remember how that ended. I love Sandra Bullock.
That's how it ended. It's good.
Well, Sliding Doors is really good, and I was like, I really appreciate the way that they play off the whole multiple timelines thing. Because, like, there's a couple of scenes in the movie where they're in the same time space. Mm-hmm. But... the Gwyneth Paltrow that found her boyfriend cheating on her, and the Gwyneth Paltrow that didn't find her boyfriend cheating on her. Like, they go through the same thing, but not. So, for instance, what I specifically thinking of is there's a scene where Gwyneth Paltrow, who found her boyfriend cheating on her, and so now is seeing, like, the nice guy, who makes all the Monty Python references. So the only Monty Python references I know are from Sliding Doors because this one character makes these references.
I'm going to look it up if you don't know the Sliding Doors.
Yeah.
Because it sounds so interesting.
It is so good. You can watch it for free on Tubi. Tubi.
Oh, okay. I need to get
Tubi.
that.
Yeah. I don't even use an account with Tubi. I just watch for free on it whenever I want something that's available. But like, so the her that's with the...
It's Sliding Doors.
Sliding Doors with Gwyneth Paltrow.
1998.
Yeah.
Before Gwyneth Paltrow kind of went crazy.
Yep. It's back in the good old days of Shallow Hal and shit. Yeah, so...
That was a movie.
It was. So she is down here with a bunch of rowers cheering on the guy that she's sort of seeing, right? Then up on the bridge, walking with her best friend, is Gwyneth Paltrow, who's still with the boyfriend because she doesn't know he's cheating on her.
What a strange concept, if you don't mind me saying.
It is.
As a writer, I'm like,
because you go through this whole movie and it's like, this is what happens when she doesn't trip and fall and she doesn't get mugged by this guy and she gets home to find her boyfriend cheating on her.
Well, and I wonder how that would...
And this is what happens when she doesn't.
How do they go about doing that?
It's so good. If you're going to watch it, I don't want to...
Okay, don't... well, I mean, filming-wise, like, was it one scene her in this universe, one scene her in this other universe? Is it like...
Well, that's the thing is, like, so when you see her down here with the rowers... And she's down there cheering on the guy that she's not really dating, but sort of dating. James. When she's down here with James, you know that she's down here with the rowers, right? And then it switches to the version of her that is still with her shitbag boyfriend that's cheating on her. And she's walking above where the rowers are. And her friend looks down at them. And... something's said about the rowers, and you see them from farther off, and there's no blonde girl there now. Whoever was the blonde girl is now a brunette. So it's like, it's completely alternate timelines, but they're going through the same things, like in the same time frames.
Wow, that is very interesting.
I won't talk about the ending, the way they tie it together,
because it's
super
good interesting.
It's really good, but it like totally addresses like how one decision changes how life goes. But in the same thread of things, it illustrates in my head that whole, like, you can be living two different lives and you don't even fucking know it. I figure it's good to bring up during parallel universes.
No, absolutely. So I think this is the longest episode we've ever done.
Not quite. The vampires still have it beat.
Really?
Vampires over an hour and a half.
Part 1 or part 2?
Don't remember.
Really? Wow.
One of them's over
that's crazy.
Hour 35.
Our episodes are definitely getting longer then.
Well, I think it's like, part of it's the subject matter. Part of
absolutely.
We've been doing a lot more pop culture talk than we used to.
Yeah, well, I think people like pop culture.
Yeah, I'm not fine. I'm just saying, like, we have done more of it, which has added more time because we also want to get the information that we've looked up
exactly.
Out there, and tie it all in together, right?
So I'm curious on everybody else's opinion on the multiverse, because everyone has their own theory.
Do you think our bodies are a universe? I want to know who thinks I'm fucking crazy and who also goes, no, we could be a universe in and unto ourselves.
Somebody's like, well, I think you're crazy about the Apollo thing, but maybe not the theory thing.
I was there. So was
I'm
Apollo.
just kidding.
No, you're okay. No, that was my thought, was like, somebody's going to be like, well, you are crazy though, Amber. You think that Apollo came to you while you were tripping. But he did. I made friends with trees. It was good. It was a good night.
It sounds like a good night.
It was. I made a painting of it, and like the other people that were involved, they were like, oh, I saw that too.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Ashley
you really
had it on
did.
Her wall.
You really did get fucked by Apollo. I saw it. But what if you guys are both like legit and it really happened? I don't know what's scarier. You know what I mean?
What does Apollo look like? Because I don't remember that. I was looking at the stars.
Blonde. I mean, doesn't everybody imagine Apollo blonde? Do you not? I mean, when I hear Apollo, I just think...
Yeah, I think gold's like
blonde,
like the
blonde
long,
hair.
like flowy curls, like the beautiful, yeah. Oh, yeah.
But anyway, I'm very curious on your opinion on the multiverse. Do you believe in it? If so, what is your theory? It doesn't have to be
Inquiring minds want to know.
It could be your own personal theory.
Right,
you don't have to have anything like a hype.
So if you come at us with math, like, we will not understand.
Yeah, don't do that.
Just saying.
So if you're watching on YouTube, leave a comment.
Please.
And while you're at it, don't forget to like and subscribe. We're trying to get our YouTube going.
Yes, we would love, and any feedback you want to give us.
Please.
witchestalkingtarot@gmail.com. Give us some feedback. We would love to know what we can do to make the videos better.
Yes, and don't forget to follow us on Twitter. At Classiest Witches.
And Instagram at Witches Talking Tarot.
Yes.
Yes. And Melissa, thank you so much for helping us make a better show.
So amazing. I just have to say, she's the only one we mention after, like, every episode. And she's so fucking amazing. She's just like an OG. She's there. If you want to be an OG.
Yes. Yes, if you want to be an OG, like, once we're at episode 50.
Right.
Yeah. Check out our Patreon, see what we have to offer. If you're interested in helping support an indie podcast, that is one of the best ways to do so. Another great way would be to email us at Witches Talking Tarot to sign up to be one of our tarot spots in one of our upcoming tarot episodes. Then you get a tarot reading out of it, a month-long tarot reading.
Yes.
And we get indie podcast support.
Woohoo!
Win-win, motherfucker. So, I think that's all we have for you today, and keep
on keeping on.
Yeah, like keep an ear out for the promo that's going to follow this episode, and then keep an eye out for our episode on Thursday. We will be talking about magic in the mundane.
Yes.
All right. Thanks for coming to sit with us for a spell.